morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm meadsy69. Welcome back to the channel. Now, today we're going to have a look at the Polish tech tree. We're going to revisit this Polish tech tree because, in my opinion, it's too strong. From tier 8 to tier 10, these three tanks are so strong. You might not agree with me, you may agree with me, whatever, but my opinion is the tanks are way too strong. Now, the tier 8 version is such a good tank. I love this tank. It's got such an amazing turret. The hull can be strong. It all depends on your angling. If you're looking directly at them, yeah, it can be a little bit strong. But if you're sort of tilting down a bit, then it does become a lot weaker. But the main thing with these three tanks is them tungsten shells. They are absolutely amazing. I mean, 455 alpha there. Now, this tank usually hits around above 400 anyway. So to use that tungsten shell, and you can shoot sort of twice, you may be able even to shoot 3 times if you use adrenaline. I haven't quite seen it, but you may do. You may be able to just about get the 3 shells out if you are using that adrenaline. But even 2 shells in every use is just great. It is absolutely great, and especially when you're using a high alpha gun like the 60 TP, which we're going to get to very shortly. But overall, I do honestly think this is one of the strongest tier 8 tanks out there currently. It can bounce all day long. If you're in a hold down position, without a doubt, you will get those bounces. The speed is pretty good. And of course, them tungsten shells just makes the DPM a little bit higher. You do have the Emil 1. Now, I do like seeing this, to be honest. I do like seeing Wargaming introduce tanks that not are overpowered, but in tech tree format. Like, at least it's not a premium tank. So if Wargaming think that it deserves a nerf, then it will get a nerf. Now, I love what I think it was Droodles that said in the meeting that they had with Wargaming and the devs. Now, I agree with him fully. Now, what Wargaming have tended to do is they give these tanks these special consumables, and because some of them are too strong, what they do is nerf the tank instead. Now, I don't think that's right. I don't think that should happen. Instead of nerfing the tank, nerf the consumable. But Wargaming tend to nerf the tank rather than the consumable. You know, they've worked so hard with these new consumables, they don't want to nerf them. Instead, nerf the tank. Now, that I think is wrong. I don't think they should do that. I think they should 100% nerf the consumable rather than the tank itself. And do I see a nerf coming for this tank? I do. I don't think it will be a consumable nerf. I honestly think it will be a tank nerf somehow. Whether that will be less armor on the turret, less armor on the hull, that's probably where they may sit at. They might not nerf it. I don't think, if they are going to nerf it, it won't be for a while yet. It won't be for a while yet. They tend to do this with new lines occasionally. They want people to grind them, they want people to play them, and they want to give people a reason to play them. And that's maybe why they are strong. Very strong indeed. But I love the tank. I've been playing it for ratings. It is actually my most played ratings tank in tier 8. I'm trying to play ratings on all tiers, maybe not so much tier 7, but I'm playing them on tier 8, tier 9 and tier 10 just to get the camouflage, the 5,000 camouflage on each tank. So this game here, I mean, he's already on 5 kills. He's alone against 2 tanks. He's only about 690 damage at the moment, but he hasn't had too many shots come his way. So he's got 2 tanks left, the Hafen, and he's got the VK45, which 2 tier 7 tanks shouldn't be too much of a problem to deal with, especially as this Hafen isn't the best of tanks. It hasn't got the best of penetrations, and overall, especially when he just comes up like that and gives our guy a free shot there. And God knows what this VK45 is doing. So at the minute, I think you could already see this is going to be a win. So we're just going to fast forward it to the end. There's no point. We're not here for the game itself, the replay itself. We are here just for the tanks. And so What do you guys think of the 53 TP? I mean, the tier 7, I haven't actually played the tier 7 or the tier 6 yet, but they seem kind of balanced. They seem okay. Not too bad. Not the greatest of tanks, but they seem okay. And overall, I think the line at the moment is a brilliant line to grind. And especially when you could do things like that. A Razani medal, 6.2k damage, a Kolobanov, and just a pure carry. So next up, we have the 50 TP, the tier 9 version. And again, it has the tungsten shells, which makes it a little bit better. So we're just going to fast forward most of this game whilst we talk about the tanks. We don't want it being a 20-minute video. So yeah, this is the kind of the same. This is the kind of the same thing. It can carry, it's got armor, it's got a turret, and it has them tungsten shells, and it has that high alpha as well. Now, I did state previously when Wargaming done the event, the tier 9 50 TP prototype event, that if you don't manage to get the prototype, don't worry too much, because the 50 TP is coming in the tech tree very soon. And I stand by that, because I do believe that this tank is better than the 50 TP. I did get it wrong in my last video. I said it's because it had the tungsten shells, whereas Wargaming actually give the 50 TP prototype the tungsten shells as well. But overall, I just think it performs better than the prototype, and I do like seeing this in a tier 9. Like, I do think this I don't know if it's the strongest heavy in tier 9. I still stand by the E75. I think that's just such a strong tank when you know how to play it. But this is close. This is close up there, and I think it's an amazing tank. You can carry games, you can get bounces. Our guy here has bounced 1100 damage, not too much, but you know, well, now it's 1400 damage. So if he wouldn't have bounced all these shots, the outcome of this game would have been completely different. Now, of course, he's trying to pen this IS-4. It's quite of a nightmare to deal with an IS-4, especially when you are face hugging this tank. But this guy IS-4 is now doing the right thing in ignoring the 50 TP and trying to go for the lower hit point tank, which is that T92E1. He's a one shot to him, so getting rid of him is probably a must, but he needs to actually hit his shot to get the kill. So our guy here, he carries the game in a tier 10 game. He's a great player anyway from the Wreckham clan. So yeah, the 50 TP I think is a great tier 9, and as I've said, one of the strongest in tier 9 currently. So moving on, you have the 60 TP. Now the 60 TP, I've been playing it, and it's amazing. It really is amazing. If you can get this tank down in a hold down position, then it is absolutely brutal. The hatches are quite strong. I do admit, I've come up against a few of these, and when they're in a hold down position, there really isn't much you can do. There really isn't too much you could do. If you've got a high caliber gun, then I'd probably recommend just splashing it with HE. Now, the only negative thing really about the 60 TP is the ammo rack. Just like an IS-7, it is like a whole new IS-7. A new IS-7, it is very, very easy to ammo rack. And that's, I do think that Wargaming I don't think it should be as easy to ammo rack any tier 10, even the IS-7, to be honest, because the IS-7, everyone knows where the ammo rack is. If you shoot it with a big gun, you're pretty much 50-50 in chance of ammo rack in the tank. And this is kind of the same thing. Now, this is a better E100 by all means. I love the E100. I still think it has different playstyle, but it doesn't have the turret that the E100 has got, and it has the gun. It has the gun that the E100 has got, and of course it has them tungsten shells as well, so you can do even more alpha. I mean, look at that, 643. That's without the tungsten shells. If you can use the tungsten shells on a max roll, then you could do a lot of damage. So he's using the tungsten shells here. Not always. You don't always get high rolls, but let's see what roll he does here. So I can't quite see. There's 700 damage. 700 damage, and that wasn't even a high roll. Is he gonna he won't have time to get another shell out, which is unfortunate, because he could have cleared one of these guys, because at the moment it is a 1 versus 3. But you can see there the hull and the turret of that 60 TP is so strong. Our guy here has bounced 2,700 damage already, and there's still 2 tanks to deal with. He can take a shot from each of these guys and still be alive. So he's going to get a shot here on the E75. It brings him now down to a one shot. So both of these guys are a one shot. Really, they needed to push together. They actually wait to get down to a one shot and then they decide to push. But now they are doing the right thing. It's just too late. One goes either side of the tank, and unfortunately it's just too much for this 50 TP to handle. Now if the 50 TP was using tungsten shells, he could probably clear this guy if he managed to penetrate, but unfortunately he low rolls, and that is going to be game over for him. So 2,700 block damage, and he finishes on 8,100 damage. So GG there. So what are your thoughts on this line? Do you think they are overpowered? Do you think Wargaming should keep them that way? I mean, I'm not too bothered in a way. I do think they are overpowered, but I like it as that are tech tree tanks. I like it that tech tree tanks are overpowered rather than premium tanks, because at least it gives everybody the chance to actually play these tanks. Now then, if they are going to be nerfed, they're not going to be nerfed next update, so people do have time to actually grind the lines, have a bit of fun in them before they do nerf it, if they do nerf it. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think these tanks need a nerf, or are you happy that they are this strong? So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. So I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. I'm meadsy69, and I'll catch you all soon. Bye bye. With